think anybody who wants the job of president is not fit for the job. It's as simple as that. Anybody who wants to rule should not be allowed to. It's as simple as that. These people want this position. They claw their way over each other to get to this position because they just want power. And it isn't that power corrupts. It's that power attracts those who are easily corrupted or are already corrupt, because anyone who isn't corrupt simply doesn't want the gig. Any street, any country, any place that you live in the world, look at what your government has done to your society. Look how much you are struggling, and ask yourself why on earth you would think that these people are going to do anything to improve the situation. They're not. Every problem that we face in the world today is a result of legislation that governments have written, which have allowed all of this rubbish to continue due to our ridiculous belief in authority, our unquestioning belief in what is written down on paper. It's absolutely absurd. We've got to step out of this paradigm, step out of this brainwashing that we're in. Now, what goes on in these people's heads? How they could come to someone and say, you must walk between these lines, and if you don't, I will push you and push you to the point that I will put you in a cage if you don't do what I say. That's the mentality that they have. They are so brainwashed that they will push people until death or in complete incarceration simply because they didn't do what they're told. And they think they're doing the right thing when they do it. That is the scary part about the mindset. That's the scary part about the programming. And that's something that we have to deal with. It's a freaky thing, but it's just something that we have to deal with. And that's why they work so hard to divide everybody and keep us squabbling amongst each other. And even when you try to unify people, they think, oh no, you're trying to create some united front, which will be a movement which can be picked off. No, it's just a unity of focus. Just a unity of focus. And you've got to understand as well, a lot of the people who join the police force actually join the police force because they want to do the right thing. A lot of these people see society being in a mess, and they're good people who want to do something right. And they go in there, they get into this big boys club, they get indoctrinated, and that's the way it goes. And ultimately, it's all corrupted anyway, because it's corrupt from the top down. And stop thinking that all these guys are your enemies, because they're not. There's a lot of good people in the police force and a lot of good people in the government and in these situations which are really trying to help us from within, and a lot of them are staying in these situations and working for these groups because they want to have the insider knowledge. So don't think these people are your enemies. Just realize that we're being pitted against each other in our response. Like I was saying before, whenever we respond to the system, we do it according to the parameters that the system gives us. They want us to do these protests. Do a big protest, big march through town, have police everywhere, get it on the news. Oh, look at these violent protesters. Then go to march to some square somewhere, and someone gets up on a podium and says a few words. And then they listen to it and go, okay, well, they're not really saying anything that's going to move it forward. So they can gauge the consciousness. They can gauge the response of the people. They can portray it to the public in the wrong way. And that's not the way to do it. We do that, or we sign petitions. We ask, would you please be a nicer slave master to us? What is this rubbish, What are we asking them for? Too many times people want you to provide a pathway. What are the steps to freedom? How do we get to the new system that you want to bring in? If this system is corrupt, what's the new system you want to bring in? Everybody wants that answer. They don't realize that the system isn't corrupt. The system is doing exactly what it's designed to do. The only reason the system is so dysfunctional is because of our tolerance of evil, our tolerance of wrong behavior. Right. If we were to change that and we were to do the right thing in all that we do, and we were to respect everybody around us, the system would have to change around us organically. We don't need to construct a new system. We need to reconstruct what is in our hearts and reconstruct the way we approach other people. If we could live in a gift-based society and just start giving to people. This is all I do, Bill. I give to people. Ask the question of your boss why this economic model is being supported when people their lives are being destroyed because of it. Didn't we create this economic system to support the human race? How come the human race is now the most expendable thing that exists within this economic system? It's all backwards. We've just got to change the way we look at things. That's how we'll change the world. We don't have to change the system. We've got to change ourselves. So I think the country needs to watch out where it's heading. I really think you guys are in for some very, very troubling times ahead if people do not, get a little bit of unity in themselves and realize that there are no leaders that are going to lead you to safety. You've got to change what's in your heart, and you've got to stand up for yourselves and take this country back. You really do.
When humans awaken to their two-eyed, third-eyed state of awakening, it's over. It's over for this lot. And so what they have to do And it's very appropriate that their symbol, one of their main symbols, is the all-seeing eye, a single frickin' eye, because that's kind of symbolic of its state of awareness. And it's the one-eyed man, and it's a classic kind of example of that phrase. In the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. In the kingdom of the human blind, the all-seeing eye is king. But they have to keep humans in a smaller box of awareness and a knowledge than they're in. That's where the secret societies come in, making sure that happens. And so this awakening is the worst nightmare of this cult, because it will bring the whole bloody house down. The whole foundation of human control through the ages has been making sure they don't awaken. So it's a fantastic time, mate. It really is, to be here and experiencing it and to watching it unfold. Many challenges to come, but once this gains momentum, this awakening from which everything else comes, then this house of cards is coming down. Now, what they want is a completely different financial system based on one single world currency, digital money, which of course they would be able to completely control. And to do that, they've got to go in for creative destruction. They've got to destroy what's there now. And they've started it because, this great reset is actually for, as we've been saying all these years, a global dictatorship based on a world government, world central bank, world army, world currency, etc. And so they want the end of countries. This whole thing about you will own nothing but be happy is very much connected to this devastation financially and this cult coming forward in its various disguises and saying, we'll sort it out, we'll forgive the debt, you'll be fine, but all your possessions have to be given over, all your property, everything has to be given over, and then we'll sort this out. And people will end up with a guaranteed income. They're trialing this now in some American cities, I understand, and other cities around the world. And the basic income will be basically a pittance. And with everything else basically trashed apart from the cult corporations, people will find it very difficult to earn a living outside of the guaranteed income. And the guaranteed income will only be given if you do what you're told.